watched the video last week, it's essentially just the speaker, just the person that is speaking is recording. So if you see a view with friends on it or different people, and you have your camera on, they won't see you or CJ's cool pajamas. Oh, sorry, swimsuit, and just so you know that. And it's great to see more of our students on here, because if you have questions, love for you to ask. So I have two things that I wanted to just share with you today. I have more, but two that are an add-on from last week. But I wanted to open it up to the crew. We had some work this week. We had some asynchronous activities to do. We had some things like that. Not so much questions on how to do it or did I do well or not. More, how did it feel to do this week? When I met with the facilitators, it was more like give a few work samples so that students could practice logging onto the computer. And we're finding out some issues, that some didn't have the email set up, or some it was the first initial and not the first name, or some of the different things. That part of this week was not only to practice for especially our youngest learners in this group, practicing making sure your accounts work, making sure you were able to access material. So definitely jump in with questions, but more just kind of gathering how you felt this week. More around the work, not about, like, I know your friends are probably in school and different things. Like, I get that. But how's it been for doing some work this week for some of the kids that are on there, or for the parents who said I'm frustrated, or I like it, or anything? There's no right or wrong answer. And if you want to say something, you can just unmute and you can say it, or I can continue just to kind of monotonally speak, keep going on. And we got cats, we got snacks, we got all sorts of goodness here. Got masks. I like it.
I'll just jump in. I thought it was the assignments for the week were really perfect to just get things warmed up. I appreciated that it was different. There was Flipgrid. There was, it challenged me too. I had to sit down and get organized, but that's what we're going to have to do for the next few months. So it made perfect sense to me. And I needed to email Mrs. LeBlanc and got information. I needed to email Mrs. Boss, Principal Boss, to get my student ID because we didn't have that. So yeah, we had to really gear up and get things in order, but everybody was great about it. And I think now next week or possibly in a week and a half, when we have to do the next phase of this, it won't be so abrupt, kind of just easing into all of that. So positive on my end. Good.
Well, that's good to hear. So one of the things I do want to clarify, because we got this question a lot. So CJ, you unmuted. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, we were having trouble just finding how to get into Flipgrid, and I heard the other person talk that they got into it. So we thought it was, that it wasn't up yet, but if she got into it, we should be able to get into it. And we couldn't figure out where to find it.
Okay. And did you reach out and are you all set now, or do you need further help?
No, we haven't found it yet.
Okay, so Ms. Link will follow up after that. After this, thank you for sharing. So one of the things.
Can I jump in real fast? Sorry.
Of course.
I just totally.
Well, I'm sorry. The other option is me just sitting really talking at all of you.
I thought it went well. I really did. My only concern is I'm hearing that kids who are going hybrid and then coming home and learning, they're learning all day on their Chromebooks. And I'm wondering, are we falling behind? Things of that sort. And someone mentioned to me, how are you going to meet the 170 days, which I never even thought about. You know what I mean? In terms of sure. I'm just not sure how all that works. So.
All right. So a few questions weaved in there. One, you're not behind because you haven't started.
Right.
Yes, you are chronologically behind the in-person model because they have begun their in-person time. Mm-hmm. But essentially they have, 4 days at max at this right. point. And again, it's not a comparison. Right. I'm going to show you in a second how you'll know if you're behind or not. Okay. I'm going to show you the dashboard for the students. So you're not behind, and you're not behind academically because you are going to work at a little bit more rapid pace. Now you have to remember, and again, I'm not passing judgment on either side, but mm-hmm. our students who are in school for the time they're in school there's a lot of time of washing hands. There's a lot of time of sanitizing. There's a lot of time of waiting to get into the cafeteria. There's a lot of time, and it's not passing judgment on how our schools are operating, because we're operating very safely, but they're also not getting the 6 hours of time that you would get. And essentially they're in 2 days. Again, no judgment, and this is how we're operating in today's educational world. But when you start your first 5 days, you're going to get 30 hours compared to the maybe 3 or 4 that they get twice a week. And, over time, it'll make up for it.
Gotcha.
The second piece about being behind with their progress, they're going to catch up. They will. Was there another part in there that I skipped over?
It was meeting the required number of days.
The days.
Honestly, I'm not super concerned. Someone just mentioned it to me.
Yeah, so the days is an in-person requirement for our district. We have to provide that many learning days, and we are.
Okay.
You're choosing a different platform within our school calendar. So you are on a course completion.
Okay.
And I don't know what grade your child is in, but kindergarten is not even mandatory. So
I have one in kindergarten, one in third, and one in fourth.
I'm not recommending it, but essentially they, that's why I see some places have half-day kindergarten, some has full, because it's not a state requirement.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I like it. So let me show you what this looks like. And I'm going to share my screen. So the view's if you've never used Meet before, it's going to skew a little bit, and probably on the left-hand side of your screen, you're going to see my screen, or at least a portion of my screen. I'm going to share this document. So what happens though when I share my screen is my view of all of you goes away. So if you can see this image when it comes up, can you just tell me, somebody tell me you can see it?
It's there.
All right. Or this is one of the times where you just sit and see how long he'll wait. So this is a bad view, but I took a screenshot really quickly at my Monday training. So at the Monday training, they let us see inside the student portal, the student dashboard. So they weren't sharing it with us, so I took a screenshot of it so I could share with all of you today. So what you're looking at, again, it'll look a little different. This is just a picture. I took a computer picture, essentially, of this. But the blue outline, starting up at the top here, this will be the website that you will enter into. So similar when you log into Google Drive or whatever, you get folders and different things. It's called Buzz. So if you hear the word Buzz, that is the learning platform that they call it. My guess is it stands for something, or they just called it that. No clue, and it doesn't really impact our learning. It's just called Buzz. So if you hear it, that's the learning platform that your students will go into. This is, again, it's just a picture of their screen. So in the top left-hand corner, can you see this yellow little line? Yes? Caitlin, can you see this?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, all right. So when you click on this link and courses come up, this is what you will see, or your students will see, all of your courses. Again, these are not your courses. This was just the one that they let us in and I took a picture. But this would say like math and science, reading, whatever the courses are that your students are going to take, this is what it looks like. It'll have the day at the top. Your facilitator will be allowed to give you announcements. So you'll get kind of updates, you'll get notices. It could just be a smile, have a great day, whatever it is. And again, we didn't get too deep into it. I just asked, can I see it? And they showed it to me, and then they took it off the screen. So announcements here. And when you select one of these are each individual digital folders. Within each of these 6 are your courses, meaning your work. So kids will go in there and do their work. You'll see, so the second part about this is, again, don't worry about the dates right now because we're going to set the dates for you, but it shows you the dates of the course when it ends. You'll see the progress, this little progress button, or this image here. So you're asking about if you are behind, or your goal is essentially get this filled up. when you are progressing through the program, you'll see where you are. It'll also give you your current score. So this student has a 96 in biology. They must have done this one assignment, just guessing. But this is where you'll see your child's score or grade, essentially. And this is where you'll see their progress. This, again, they went to click on it and then I took the picture. This gives you a graph of how your assignments are going, what are your scores. It gives you a visual of the coursework. The second tab, again, I can't click on this, but it's a picture. This is where you can work with your facilitator to here's some things you should do this week, or however you set up your to-do list, or it'll be your assignments listed. And then the activity stream, if you click on here, it'll show you the things you have done. So this is a very quick single photo view of, I just want to switch back to let that person in. Okay. A very single view of what the dashboard would look like. So before I switch back, I didn't know if you had any questions. And if you do, or if it's in the chat, I can't read it. If you want to just, Caitlin, if you could read that to me. I can jump back this way.
Sure, Matt. There was a question that was wondering if parents are going to be able to have their own login and see this type of dashboard.
From what I was told, it's an account login. So you have the same login as your child. So whatever the structure is that's set up, and it might be their email and their password, you would use that to go in. There's no secondary like PowerSchool that you go in, because the grades essentially in here are just for your own view. Your facilitator will move them over to PowerSchool. I'm going to jump back to you all. So you wouldn't need, not that you wouldn't need it, but you would have the same login information. We are also setting up so for the younger grades, they can't change it. Not that your students could, but high school, middle school kids tried to change their PowerSchool password, not realizing that the families had a different password. So they couldn't check their work. But so you'll have the same password. It was never stated to us that there'd be a secondary for families. Will parents have a login? Yeah, so that was the question. Okay. And you'll get that login and you'll work with your facilitator to get in. I would say, again, my recommendation, not saying you have to do this, when we get this, even if it's the first day, someone said, oh, if I have to work the first day, I don't know how I'll help my child. There's the first day is just essentially the first day you can get into the program. If the first day you end up not doing work, that's your choice, like if you have to work. But I'm going to get into attendance next. But so the working is on your pace. And if you, the first week, really just want to go through this or spend some time with your facilitator and walk through what are these, what is this, you can do that too. If you're someone that's more comfortable at home going through these on your own, obviously do that and you can get started. Within the first week or two, you're going to be meeting with the Ms. LeBlanc to go through a schedule and here's where we should be. How are you going to work on this? Oh, you like science? Do 3 science things today and 1 math. And then tomorrow, okay, there's no progress on the ELA. Make sure you get that progress up on the ELA. It's essentially self-paced and monitoring yourselves. The second piece is on attendance. So we got guidance from the state and we're creating a method that will reach the requirements, but giving families some flexibility as well. So the requirement is that your facilitator takes attendance every day in a live face-to-face. They have to put their eyes on the kids and say, do you have any questions? Similar to this, but probably it's 1 grade at a time. Kindergarten might be, 8 to 8:10. How's everyone doing? You good? You're here, you're here, you're here. And great. Any questions about the day? Wonderful. I'm just making these up. Don't write these down as the times yet. But then 8:15, first grade comes on. Okay, you're here. Great, great. Any questions? Oh, you had trouble with that yesterday. And have like a morning meeting. And then the same thing with second grade. So between 8 and 9 every morning, depending on how it's set up with Ms. Blank, you're going to have a face-to-face check-in, your child, not you. I mean, you can be there, obviously, but it's not just checking in on you, that the students are all on the camera, checking in with the facilitator, asking questions. That is the requirement from DESE, which is our state ed organization, and then Ms. LeBanc will put the attendance in. What we are doing, though, is putting the attendance in at the end of the day, because as long as you put the attendance in throughout the day, so if you are, again, I don't know this, but if you are driving somebody to daycare during your scheduled all-group meet, just connect with Ms. LeBlanc, so at some point in the day, when they get to grandma's, they can log in and make a connection with Ms. LeBlanc. It's not enough just to email that the child was working today. That at some point every day that Ms. LeBlanc has to have eyes on the students. Now that could be, again, all of this is kind of live time we're talking. It could be that everyone in kindergarten would do better at 8:15, then that's when that one would be. Like, we're going to try to accommodate for efficiency purposes too, because Ms. Blank's got to take attendance from everybody. If we could get every kid online for those 10 minutes before 9 o'clock, boom, we can do this. But at the same point, we want to be understanding that daycare, especially for our essentially 7th grade and below, not to say that 8 and above can't, there's not going to be issues, but they have phones, they can check, and there's other ways to do it. But our younger learners need that flexibility because of the daycare, because of whatever it is. Sleeping in, that's not going to be great. But if you have a daycare issue or they're going somewhere like the YMCA, I don't know, insert issue. But we are giving to families to the end of the day. But it is going to be the expectation. And if they don't, they will be absent for that day. That'll go toward, if not, they're present. So on a Monday, they check in from 8 to 8:15. You may not have another connection until Tuesday at that same time. So that the other thing that I'm asking our facilitators to do is to check in not only you look great in your mask, by the way. Not only are they checking in the mornings as a whole group, that at some point during the week, they'll have an individual check-in with just one-on-one to make sure they're doing well. And we're going to be creating schedules with our facilitators that allow for some office hours, that allow for some management, because you all have a lot of questions and emails, and we want to make sure to be respectful to the facilitators that they are getting back to you. So we're going to create a time that schedules, however you want to put it, but in plain terms, email reply time, lunchtime. They also want to make sure I'm asking them to go through your learning, your child's learning, performance and progress. So when they do meet, they know how they're doing. So there's going to be a balance, and just so that you know that too, that their work time is going to be scheduled in there too. So attendance every day, but then there's going to be at least one check-in through the week, a one-on-one kind of conference session time. That doesn't mean you can't reach out, because there's going to be some open times too. And we're working through this similar to you. I've never done this. I've been a principal for 11 years and a district leader for 5. This is the first time I'm doing this. So I'm sure I'll fumble up on some things, or there's things that work better than others. So I know you've been incredibly patient already, and I'm not asking you to be more patient. What I'm saying is we're trying to work this out too, with the goal that makes it the most efficient for you and your learners, knowing that this group, this is new for everybody, and it's even more kind of difficult for our K-2 learners as they start school essentially on the computer. So those are the two big things, with a couple other things mixed in there. Next week, you're going to receive, so where I started with the assignments, you got an email from Ms. LeBlanc, you got some links like the Flipgrid, and some people had trouble getting in, or other links. That's not how it's going to be every Monday. We're doing that until you can log in. We're going to do it again next week, just to keep your kids, getting them ready to learn, getting them how to understand. But once you get that login, and once you start, it's not going to be like a Monday email from your facilitator with assignments. Their assignments are in that image that I showed you, that they'll go in and they'll get it. And we'll also talk about, and this will be, talk through the way. as soon as you start, my role with all of you may decrease, but I'm still going to hold time to meet with you. I'm going to be working with the facilitators. I'm still going to be involved. And one of the things that we'll talk about is, the frustration level. If you get to the point where your kids are just hating it, take a break, go swimming, watch whatever you watch, Paw Patrol, whatever it is, and have a snack, go for a walk. The benefit, and there's a lot of benefits actually to the asynchronous program. One of the main benefits is you can stop anytime you want. You get frustrated in class, you'll be told to sit down. Here you can get out. There will be no live classes. There'll be videos, I think, within classes that allow students to see how to do that. We do not have the synchronous program, which is the live teaching. This is 100% asynchronous self-pacing with one facilitator from Leicester and then online support. You'll also, in your next batch email or your next email to all of you, you'll get the number and website to the Florida Virtual Help Center as well. That just was sent to me, and I sent it to the facilitators, and they'll send that out. Other questions or things, or if you logged on just to get some information, you logged on to complain, to vent, whatever it is, this is your time. Or if there are things we can do better, let me know, because I'm essentially making it up as I go. I want to make sure that I'm hitting the needs that you have. So Tammy, I see you unmuted.
Yeah, quick question about the email. So students in first grade have an email address that logs them into stuff, but that email isn't a functioning email. Is that correct? And when does it convert to real email?
Yes-ish. Yes, they have a email account. Yes, it's operational. It's just not turned on. And I've worked with the building principal. It was a building-based decision that we're rethinking, we'll say, because I think especially for our K-4 learners to have that opportunity. I mean, one of the first questions today was about how can they get the link sent to them. If we're creating independent learners, I won't say that, but I would like to see it. I would like to see that as a function that you have, but we're just working out the kinks between our building leadership and the program needs.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand why my first grader doesn't really need to be checking an email, but with older kids in the district, it's just in my head trying to figure out, when they need to check their email and be independent learners, and my first grade's not there. I mean, I'll check 10,000 email accounts a day, but that one I forgot about.
Yeah, so right now our 5th through 12th grade has open email, and our K-4 do not. But somebody, again, I say somebody not because I'm being disrespectful. I just don't remember. One of our families sent a request about that, and I passed that along, and I'm going to continue to look for, and it is something I think we need. The issue becomes, just to be honest with you, it's not how sometimes you can hold the shift key down and hit 7 different files that are all over it's an all or nothing. We turn it on for everybody, or it's not on in our Google management. So if it's on for the Florida virtual learners, it's on for every learner in elementary school. But it's definitely something we're looking at. Other things, again, I'm not trying to rush you off. I just don't want you to feel like you have to listen to me ramble on trying to fill time. If there's something you're not getting, please reach out to Ms. LeBlanc as far as your student. If there's something you're not getting programmatically, let me know. If there's communication we can do, if there's questions you have. Not to say that Ms. LeBlanc can't answer programmatic questions, but I've been more intimately involved in the program level, and it would probably be easier just to email us both, and we can do that if you had questions about different things, about the work or whatever. she's going to be definitely the best help. She's an excellent teacher, and I'm going to just say, ask Ms. LeBlanc. So, other things, other concerns, other questions. What I will say for this group is if you have older students, this is the exact information we're going to be talking about. So if you have a question about them and you want to ask it now so you don't have to log back on, you feel free to do that. If you obviously want them to come on for other reasons, I get that too. But this is what all 5 of the meetings are going to be about: showing you the platform, talking about attendance, and answering questions. Steve, are you reaching for the unmute? Were you going to say something? Okay, go ahead.
Quick question. I got 2 little monsters here in school right now. We have Chromebooks. So how do I get onto the Florida Virtual Learning? Do I have to Google that? Get on the site and then I can access their work? Or
yeah, so you won't Google it. You will get so at the bottom of your Chromebook, there's going to be a little like circle, the Chrome feature.
Okay.
The red, yellow, and green kind of circle with the blue dot in the middle.
Correct.
That's how you would access the internet. And once you get on the internet, you would put, I don't know this to be the link, but it'd be FLVS.com, whatever the link is. And then you would get the website in front of you.
Okay. And then I can access with their ID or whatever?
Yep, and you would access, so you would, there's 2 logins. One, they would log into the computer, which means, unless you don't log off, like if you just keep it always active, and then there would be a login to the virtual academy.
Okay.
And you're welcome. Yvette, if I said that wrong, please feel free to correct me. You asked about Google Drive. I'm not sure they're going to be students might use Google Drive to create activities, but there also may be a learning platform within the Florida Virtual. So Google Drive will be how we can create, or how your students will use the word processing, how they'll use creating a presentation or spreadsheets, but Florida Virtual might have activities built into their server. So Anna, Google should be on their laptops. Like it's a Google device. So Google is there already. I'll add Google account to the kid. So if you're saying a Google account, they have their own. I am not sure, because I didn't set them up, that other people can log in with a non-Lester account. So you can't log in with like a personal Gmail account. But Google is that it's a Google device. Like it's already on. The minute you log in, you're on the Google server essentially. And then within the Google server, you have the little icons, and you might have moved them. So our students might have moved them in a different way, but they'll have the little mail feature, which is a big red M, which is where their mail is. They'll have the circle, which is Chrome, which gets them to the internet, and it's linked to their Lester account. You would have to log them out. Now, what you could do is if you were, and I don't know this, and maybe this isn't nothing what you're asking, but just so that you know, if you're sharing a Chromebook, you'd have to log your child out and log the second child in with their Lester credentials, and then all of their information would come up in their Google account. Good questions, though. Other things that you're thinking about, other concerns? So your next step is Monday morning again. You'll receive some information from Ms. LeBlanc and with some additional work. She'll be in training next week, and then we'll get the start date, the official date that you can log in. We still don't have that because we're still uploading courses and things like that. Awesome. Well, like I said, feel free to reach out. I'm not trying to cut you short. I just don't want you to feel like, I know it's difficult, and I can see the difficulty in some of the screens, keeping everybody in front of a screen for a half hour. Let this be a marker for you that half hour is going to be maxed out for them to do work. As a principal, one of the things that I would tell our teachers is 10 minutes per grade. So if that's the case, 30 minutes is third grade. And 20 minutes is second grade. That, again, you're not going to have just them do 10 minutes, but just as your own understanding of how students interact with content, anything over 40 minutes for this group of students is going to be too much. And if they're going to, and you're going to know when they hit their frustration point, which are probably closer to a half hour. If it's something they're excited about and want to dive into, they might go 45 minutes. If they are just, this is awful, I hate math, you're going to get about 15 minutes of work before they need a snack or goldfish or take a walk, whatever it is. And know as families, that's okay. It is. And I want to make sure if you have those developmental questions, please email me. Please let me know. Again, this is the level I've worked my entire life in. I was an elementary teacher and elementary principal. So please reach out. This is the most volatile group. Not that they're going to be a problem, but that this is going to be the biggest change for our learners. And I want to make sure it's comfortable for you. Yes, all the work for next week will be from the Chromebook. It'll be everything they do will be from the Chromebook. You'll get an email from Ms. LeBlanc, and it'll be similar to the Monday one with links and things to see. Awesome. Well, for all of our young learners on here who are watching, good luck to you. If you have questions, reach out. Tell your parents to reach out. Families, caregivers, happy to help you out. And our emails are continually active, but we're not going to check it like at 10 at night if you send something and probably won't reply to the next day. But feel free to let us know, keep us informed, and we are the two main contacts for you to help you to really navigate this. Okay, so that's not good, Elizabeth. I would call the school today and go tomorrow and figure a way to get a new one. And I would CC Miss Boss, or I would email Miss Boss and Mr. Berthium and CC me, and then I'll get on it. Sorry that you're having that issue. And we're going to work out a way to make this a smooth transition, so you don't feel like you're pestering us to get something you need, because that's not good either. Oh, he's in middle school. Okay, so email the middle school, CC Jeff and CC me, and we'll get one there as well. I like how you took advantage of my request. I like it. Just get some questions in now. All right. Well, you'll get an email again if you are going to other meetings or have to attend. We're going to go through the same information. I am going to record them all. If it's something like, okay, I'll just watch the recording on my own time, and you want to be asynchronous learners, have at it. So I hope everyone has a great day. We'll connect again next week. And if you have questions, reach out. I'm going to stop the recording, and Ms. LeBlanc will stay on together for a minute. Awesome. I hope everyone has a great day. CJ, be careful in the pool. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the day and weekend if I don't see you at any one of the other 4 meetings.